Welcome to the First and Inches podcast, where every play counts and every take hits hard. Right. David is repping the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. George bleeds black and gold for Steeler Nation, and AP is still waiting on the Vikings to show up in February. We're breaking down the biggest stories in football, baseball, and anything in between. We're calling it like we see it, and no fan base is safe. Touchdown! This is the First and Inches podcast.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Hello and welcome back to the First and Inches podcast, everybody. I'm Jorge.
I am Hooks.
Hey everyone, it's AP. What's up?
What's up? It's Super Bowl week, y'all.
Super Bowl.
I promise I'll get a technical producer to try and post this in time for Super Bowl so that people can hear our predictions before they happen and they don't be like, oh no, you did this after the game. No, right now the Benito Bowl is scheduled for, what time is it scheduled for? Like, I know it's in California, but what time does the game start now?
Hooks, I'm surprised you don't have an internal countdown that you've got going on.
I think it's a 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern.
Is that normal? Is that the normal time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess for some reason I thought it was like earlier than that before.
I took off Monday after. Did you, Adam?
No.
You always do
so
that, but it's usually because the
show.
Chiefs are in it.
Yeah.
And your Chiefs are nowhere near it.
Listen, you guys can talk. We can talk football all we want today, but I really want to talk about the halftime show. I really want to discuss that. I want to know what dress he's going to wear. Yeah. I'd like to hear his position on all world topics too while we're at it. Because I value his opinion.
The last thing he's always need to do is talk about anything but music. That's all I know or should know. Yeah. But in Puerto Rico, man, it's like a bunch of Super Bowl merch. There's never been that much Super Bowl merchandise before. And it's all got Bad Bunny in it. So it's pretty funny to see.
That's good. Yeah. He's pretty famous.
Well, let's talk about Patriots and Seahawks, because there's a lot to unravel and a lot of that we don't know. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen. Weather should be fine, right, this time around. So the Patriots won't have to deal with the crap they dealt with a couple weeks ago. What are we looking at in terms of the difference makers for each team?
Yeah. Hooks, you want to kick it off?
No, I want you to tell us about your Patriots and tell us what you think about them. What do you think about Drake Maye?
Well, Drake Maye should have been drafted by the Vikings. I'll start there. And there was a lot they were supposed to give up for him. But that's in hindsight. I'm not so much concentrated on Drake Maye as much as I know we want to talk about the quarterback position there. He had a great year. He had a great rookie year, but not as he's an MVP caliber year this year. But I think it's heavily supported his success on his two running backs. And his two running backs was a true two-headed monster in Stevenson and Henderson. They both averaged close to 10 carries per game. Henderson was, got more because he played in 3 more games. Had that been broken down, I think it would have been a straight near 50-50 split. Both, really where it could be counted on with getting about 50 yards per game, which is fantastic when you have both running backs doing that. I'm not wanting to take away from Drake Maye, but if it wasn't for that dual-headed monster that they have, I don't think Maye or the Patriots have the success that they have right now.
Is this what has come to we call averaging 10 carries a game?
Well,
a two-headed monster, a workhorse?
No, you're right. You're right. I'm saying that usually in most cases, if you're getting 25 carries a game, your primary running back, your bell cow, they call it, is getting, 18 to, the backup guy that's getting 5 to 7. They're getting 3 to 4 more carries per game, and he's just as effective as the guy that's running it. So what I'm saying is that you can't really plan for that. You can't, depending on who's, in the backfield. And I think that helped Drake Maye, not taken away from Drake Maye, he had a great year, but helped really drive his success. I didn't watch a lot of Drake Maye this year, but I could tell you he was error-free. So his touchdown to interception ratio, 31-8 is, that's wild for anybody. And his QBR, I'm not a fan of it because it's ESPN's kind of makeshift stat. It was 77.1. That actually led the league, along with his quarterback rating of 113.5. And again, I said this on 3 or 4 podcasts ago, he's the MVP of this year. But it's pretty impressive what he did. 72% completion rating. What the hell? I mean, that's phenomenal. This is a second year guy. So 72 and error free, man, it's going to be hard. They're my pick to click. WGN reference.
All right. So what do you think, Jorge? What do you think about Drake May and the Patriots offense?
Hey, he's played like a Super Bowl quarterback. So he's got them to this point. He's done everything and then some that they needed out of him to go this far. They definitely deserve to win the game. And I think that if he continues playing the same way he's played all year, and I don't see why he wouldn't, that they're definitely going to have a chance, regardless of how good the defense is on the other side. Because he's played great defenses throughout the year. You know, he's played probably like 4 or 5 top defenses this year.
Yeah,
and did well. He didn't lose all those games. So I think that, yeah, as much as you wish Minnesota would have taken him, he probably fits better in what they have going on in New England.
And, you know, he's a big dude, very reminiscent of Josh Allen, and he's extremely mobile. He had over 400 yards rushing. With you couple that with that high accuracy that he's got throwing the ball, he can really spin it. I mean, this guy could be, you know, remember when Mahomes had his first couple of years? I don't know if you guys know this guy. He plays quarterback for the Chiefs. Anyway, I remember I did not want to give him, what's it, the expression kids say, his flowers, right? Because he had a couple of good years. He had a really fantastic first year. But you want to see a little bit of consistency. What I see in Drake May, like I said, I didn't watch a lot, but what I did watch is it looks like a sustainable level of play, right? And I think he's so well balanced around him that I think this could be a dynasty type quarterback with what they have here.
Yeah, I think his only flaw though is, you know, he's not afraid to get hit, and quarterbacks that don't mind getting hit are, you know, they're not going to last forever. So
very good point.
He finished actually second in fantasy football points for quarterbacks in 2025, which is pretty impressive. Seeing that he was going somewhere around 13, 14 in the quarterback pecking orders. Man, I misspelled it here, but man, he had a weak schedule. He had a weak schedule, regular season and playoffs. He didn't have to face Mahomes. He didn't have to face Burrows. He didn't have to face Josh Allen. He didn't have to face the dude in Baltimore. Like, he went through the Chargers. He went through the second game was Houston, and then the third game was Denver with a backup quarterback. All he has done is survive. Well, he's thrown 177 yards per game. That would be near the bottom of the league on average yards per game in the playoffs. They just said, don't throw interceptions and we'll punt the ball and we'll go. And man, when you talk about that two-headed monster at the running back, they gave up on Henderson. He had 4 touches last week. They are going to ride Ramondre, and if Ramondre doesn't do it, they're not going to Henderson. So
why do you care who the opposing quarterback is? He doesn't play defense. He played the Steelers defense, right? He played the Bucks defense. He played the Bills. He played the Ravens defense. You're telling me that those were easy or whatever? No, that's who he plays against, is the defense on the other side. So he did okay for what?
Yeah, well, also to that, he was consistent though. So even if he was playing, which you can't fault him for it, he was consistently awesome. When you look at his quarterback rating, he only had a handful of games that he was below. Let's see, he had a bad game against Denver, right? And I think that was the weather game, the playoff game with the horrible weather. So you have to throw that out. And then he had a game against Buffalo that was his worst regular season game with a 62.8% rating. Everything else was absolutely phenomenal. So I think going back to this is that he was able to have that consistently well above average, elite level, MVP level production because of everything around him. So he was as good, what's that expression, as good as the sum of your parts or whatever, right? I think it's just a perfect storm. And I think with that level of where he's at, it's going to be a cakewalk. Not a cakewalk. But
all right, we don't have to talk about the losing quarterback much longer, but here's the thing that you've got to know about Drake May. And I hope he doesn't hear this because he's going to be upset. So this is a true fact. Of his 17 teams he played this season, in the regular season, 11 of them got fired. 11 games the coaches got fired. And that counts the Jets where their coach didn't get fired either. So 13 to 17 games were against teams that could have had fired coaches. So, I mean, was the schedule pretty tough? Three games and the Jets are left.
Call him the miss because he's awesome, but I guess you don't want to face him because that means your coach getting fired. So
Yeah, he's the coach.
what are the
killer.
odds? But you know what? He's not the only quarterback that faced 13 teams whose coaches got fired. A lot of quarterbacks in the league did too. So hey,
Yeah. I thought we were.
All right.
I'll
So
let
what do you
guys-
think about the running backs, Jorge?
well, OUDNA, I really want to see Stevenson do well. I wouldn't be mad if he gets a Super Bowl ring. I think that when he came into the league, he didn't have the opportunities that he deserved. I don't know what his work ethic is in the NFL. You know, it's different in college. In college, you don't really have to show so much work ethic in order to get the starting job, as long as you perform on the field on Saturdays. The NFL is a little bit different. So it's good to see him get the opportunity and be productive like I thought he would be. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd be happy for him since he's an OU player.
Boomer Sooner.
Man, I'll tell you what, you guys can talk about these wide receivers and tight ends, but this is quite possibly the worst group of wide receivers and tight ends that have ever made a Super Bowl game. They're terrible. I mean,
You're talking for the Patriots.
yeah. Would you trade their wide receivers for Minnesota's?
Well, I mean, Stephon Diggs and Jordan Addison, throw them up. I mean, they both have legal troubles, right? They both have a lot. So I don't think you're missing one or the other type deal. Speaking of, there's my boy right behind Jorge,
Who's
Jettas,
that?
Justin Jefferson.
Woo.
You know who he's cheering for?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I'm not saying anything. This is going to be a complete suck fest by you two and Darnold. So I'll let you guys have your menage a trois. Go ahead.
So what do you guys, are you scared of Butte and Diggs and Henry and the problem is the teams that have given the problems to the Seahawks have gone with like 2 or 3 tight ends, and the Patriots are terrible whenever they go 2-3 tight ends. They less yards per play, and they run it very, very little. So can they go to that?
And if you want to win, you got to make those adjustments. They haven't had to make them all year, or haven't made them when they had the situation.
Yeah. Sorry, we rushed past those wide receivers, but man, they're so disgusting. Pat's defense, what do you guys think?
I think serviceable. You know, I don't think that Seahawks have the most potent offense in the world. So I think that they're
Right.
going to keep them in the game. I don't know. They're not as inconsistent as they were probably at the beginning of the year, even though they came out with wins. I think that they have shored up a little bit on their pass defense. I think that, you know, they're probably going to give up a few big plays, but they're going to hold true for most of the game. They're going to give themselves a chance with that defense.
Yeah, I agree. When you look at it, like to Jorge's point, when you look at a team, like, first of all, it's kind of all thrown out the window, right? Like in a game like this. But to be fair, their defense, the Patriots I'm talking about, I looked this up, and again, because, it's going to be looking at Sam Darnold because he's kind of the darling of this. They did a stout defense. They only gave up 138 yards passing per game. And if the Seahawks are going to win, that's going to be, obviously, Darnold has to have the large part of it, right? And their defense. But I'm telling you, that's backs against the wall, and they've got a stout pass defense, and he needs to push the ball down the field. So I think it bodes well for him.
So I think that the Pats D's had in the playoffs has had 12 sacks, so 4 a game. I think they've done really well. Third down conversions 29% and giving up 239 per game. So the defense has been really good against, albeit, Stroud, a backup quarterback, and Herbert who is hurt. So but I'll tell you, and the Seahawks defense has not been as good this year or in the playoffs compared to the regular season. They only have 3 sacks. They're giving up 370 yards per game. Is that defense as good as we think it is?
I mean, listen, the Patriots were what, plus 3 in turnovers, where Seattle was -3. When you talk about that spread of 6 between the whole season, it could mean just 1 extra turnover that the Patriots have in the Super Bowl, and that could make all the difference. So you got to look at how they take advantage of opportunities like that when the game's on the line, because that could be what turns the game.
Yeah, I don't know if there's the best player in the game. It's between three of the Seahawks players are the three best in the game. So Darnold, JSN, and Kenneth Walker, I think they all start for the Patriots.
What do you mean start?
How did
Like if they were on the Patriots?
Yeah, if they merge these two teams together, Darnold,
You're putting
JSN,
Darnold in over Drake May? Huh. Okay.
14-3, back-to-back seasons.
Okay. I'd take Drake May all day. That should transition to the offense for the Seahawks, right? So now that you segue, I got no comment on. Everybody knows how I feel about Sam Darnold, and I think everybody knows how you guys feel. But if you want to add anything, hooks about Sammy D.
So, no, but I mean, like JSN has Cooper Kupp. They also picked up Shaheed late in the season. They got better. They got better on the offensive side of the ball. And Sam Darnold's not seeing ghost anymore.
Yeah, I hope for his sake. I think it'd be great. And I'd love it. I want the guy to succeed. I just don't feel like he's the Messiah like some people do. And I'm definitely not going to take him over Drake May.
I wish they could activate Marshawn Lynch for this game.
Beast mode. My dude.
Because, man, that guy deserves a Super Bowl, bro.
Absolutely. He's great. He's great TV, too. Listen to him commentate.
Yeah, and, he'll be there, so he won't get fined.
So, I mean, Kenneth Walker is the best running back in this game. They've held him back and played Charbonnet and split carries with him, 10 carries apiece, whatever, and just never could get hot. And now that Charbonnet's out, I mean, he's rushed for 178 yards in 2 games, so 89 yards per game, and had 78 yards receiving, so 39 yards per game. So he's averaging 128 yards a game. It's a nice running back to have.
Yeah. Is the Super Bowl halftime longer than most games? Is it longer than every other game? Like how much longer?
Another 10 minutes, I think, is what it is.
Do you think that has
setup?
Do you think that has an adverse impact? Like, is it good or bad for the teams to have that much longer in between quarters?
I remember listening to Kevin O'Connell talk about planning and preparation and kind of changing the game. And he says that surprisingly, there's not a lot that changes the script, right? They very rarely flip it around. They pretty much stick to the intentional plan that the halftime is there really to regroup, to go over what we're doing. They're not changing the game plan. So to your point, I think my personal opinion, I think it slows it down. And I think it's more of a detriment having an extended halftime because I think it allows second guessing. They're professionals, but I think it allows second guessing to maybe make these alterations or want to make these alterations because you're just left with this static time of not doing anything, just standing there. I thought it'd be a lot longer halftime than that because you would think that they would need at least 15 to 20 minutes to set up the field, right? Set up and take down the field. It's pretty quick, I guess, huh?
Yeah. They got that thing ready on wheels and it'll be rolling, ready to go in about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I know, 10 minutes is not a huge amount of time difference from what they're used to, but I got to tell you, like, I was playing a tournament in Puerto Rico this past week, and one day we had a 12:30 game and like a 4 o'clock game. So as soon as we were done, we had about 30 minutes, and then we were on to the next game. Then the next day we had a 10:30 game and a 4 o'clock game. So I had like 3 hours in between. Mm-hmm. By the time I got to that second game, my body was stiff. I was like ready for a nap. I was not ready to play. It was tough to get back up to that level after just sitting for so long. And I would think 30 minutes, can be a big deal when you're just sitting around waiting to go back and get to that level you were at just, a few minutes ago.
So that leads into my point. That I think it's more of a detriment. But looking here, it says the Super Bowl halftime show typically lasts 25 to 30 minutes, which is significantly longer than your NFL game, which only lasts 12 to 15.
Yeah.
So you're double time, more time, like you said, Jorge, to get stiff, tighten up. Yeah, I think if I was the players and coaches, I don't want it. It.
You're not losing it. Who's singing? I don't even know who's singing this year at halftime.
So do they even ever get to watch the halftime show? Do they have TVs in there at all or no? I mean, I would think not, right?
I've seen some kickers come out and watch it. I don't know if any other real players have.
Yeah, I can't imagine that even be on their radar. I bet they don't even care. But
I think that would be my goal every year is to not be able to watch the Super Bowl halftime show because that means I'm in the game.
Yeah. So hey, just so everybody knows, Sam Darnold is has 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. This is all in the playoffs. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 70% completion percentage. He can run during the playoffs, take advantage of any of those man coverages. And I remember he used to play for the Vikings and the Jets.
So let me ask you this. Isn't he due for a little bit of regression to the mean? Because he's not that kind of a player. Nobody is. So don't you think he's due for a little bit of regression there?
Not in this game.
No?
It's balls to the wall. This game is everything's on the line. It doesn't matter.
So you guys think he's going to go lights out? Boom.
Oh.
He should. I'm sure they all do. I'm sure that's the mentality. It's just like Game 7 of the World Series, all hands on deck. Like, I don't care, Yamamoto, how many innings you pitched yesterday and the day before. Like, he'll be ready, and he'll do whatever it takes. So, every player is going to do whatever it takes. He doesn't care if he's going to get injured. There's no, I might miss 3 weeks or 6 weeks and hurt my team. No, it's like, if I make it, I help. If I don't, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
So.
I'm not doubting the effort or I'm just saying that, a talent can only take you so far, right? And eventually you're going to run into something. So, to your point, I'm not saying he's not. I was just asking you guys.
All right. So
You wouldn't know about this because you ain't got no talent, bro. So
right.
Correct.
Steelers
Well, they
have how
don't
many
even have a
8 Super
quarterback
Bowl
right now.
championships, or how many do the Steelers have?
6.
6. Yeah. So we know about Super Bowl champions over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We got 4, but so my prediction, I'm going to throw it out there. Somebody write this down. Vikings 27, Patriots 13, Sam Darnold MVP. Clip it.
Yeah, we're going to clip that.
27-13. All right. I'm going to go, of course, Seahawks, but it's going to be closer game than that. I'm going to say 27-24. It's going to be a thriller. I think it's going to be a good game and down to the wire. So 27-24 Seahawks. Yeah.
Yeah, I like where you guys are going. You guys got the Vikings on your mind. I too think it's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm seeing in my mind 21. Well, let me back this up. Yeah. I'm going to say 21-17 Patriots.
Y'all write that down?
Sounds like a
We need
boring
that.
game to me.
Well, we can replay it. So,
All right. So we're going to talk a little baseball real quick just because it's important. We're so close. We're 10 days, 12 days away from craziness going. So
smell it.
what about the Reds? What'd they do this offseason, Adam?
Well, they did very little up until
They're hibernating still.
just recently. A lot of it was due to the TV contracts that I covered, right? They talk about their spending, but they just recently did a reuniting
Will you do something?
of Mr. Eugenio Suarez, a guy that they picked up from the Detroit Tigers years back for Alfredo Simon. It turned out to be a great deal. But they, for $15 million, got what's going to be their designated hitter. And for only $15 million, they got over the last 4 years, just using that as a reference point. That's 629 games. The dude hit 132 home runs, played to a tune of 13 plus on that WAR. And if you want, I know that kind of gets confusing to people, but he hit 18% above league average, averaging 30 a year. And he's going to the Great American Ballpark where he can absolutely soar. He can hit some piss missiles over that wall. So pretty excited. He's going to be their primary DH. And that really helps balance out a lineup and provides protection to my BFF, Ellie De La Cruz. So I'm pretty excited. And they might have a little bit more to play with, but they've added a couple of relievers, some prime relievers, actually. Reassigned Emilio Pagan, who was their closer last year, signed him for 2 more deals, and made a couple moves, trading Gavin Lux in a 3-team trade, and they got Brock Burke, a lefty that they got controllable. There was only 1 year left of Lux. They got a pretty good lefty there in the bullpen. So pretty excited about what it's on deck. It kind of changes the whole offseason for me. And coming off of a playoff team, this is gonna do really well. Got a healthy Ellie De La Cruz, and hopefully Matt McClain's back from that shoulder injury he suffered in 2024.
Nice. So it turned out to not be a total bomb with getting Suarez. My Dodgers, they picked up this reliever, Diaz, from the Mets. I love it. And then to finish it off, they went ahead and picked up Kyle Tucker from the Cubs. My wife's lovely Cubs let us have Kyle Tucker. So we didn't do a whole lot besides that. We just wanted to stay status quo and maybe get a little bit better.
They didn't go over $1 billion spend, so it is kind of a quiet offseason for that team.
Yeah. Only defer another $60,000 million. That's all good. Listen, when winter meetings started and the Mets were on the prowl and figuring out their roster, and we're all thinking Alonso's going to get re-signed and we're going to be improving from that, and that didn't happen. I mean, then it took a few weeks before we even made a move. But I think that Daddy Cohen spent some money to try and keep this team competitive, right? We got to make the playoffs. I mean, we thought we had to make the playoffs last year, and it was embarrassment not doing it. We definitely should be embarrassed if we don't make the playoffs this year. I know Alonso's gone, but listen, we picked up some great pitching. I know Devin Williams wasn't great last year, but he was 2 years ago. So hopefully this year he'll pick it back up. Freddie Peralta, we stole him from the Brewers. We got Luis Robert Jr. that's going to shore up a little more consistent bat. Great defense out in outfield. Of course, we got Bichette and we got Marcus Semien to shore up the infield. Vientos was okay at third base. Beatty wasn't really great. I think that Bichette is going to have a really successful transition to third base. I don't know if he'll be able to now put up, A-Rod type of stats with him being moved to third base. We picked up, Peralta, I think, also to help out. Listen, this year we should be set to not have the roller coaster season we did last year, where we have great beginning of the season and terrible end of the season. We should hopefully stay consistent as a team with all these weapons, to where we don't necessarily have to be scrambling at the end of the year, see what the hell is happening in the clubhouse and fighting for every single win. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going opening weekend to 4 games. The fourth one that Sunday will be at Citi Field to watch the Mets hopefully put this good roster out there and get some W's this year.
Yeah, I feel like the Mets fans, like 2 or 3 weeks into the free agency, were ready to jump off the bridge. I heard multiple Mets fans that said, I'm not a Mets fan anymore. But, I mean, heck, they picked up Polanco, too. They picked up Polanco, and, I mean, like, he's an afterthought after this point. So,
right, yeah.
It was a good offseason for him, even though they lost, what they did.
The Polar Bear and Shane.
Yeah,
Sugar.
I think the trade with the Brewers was huge. I think that was massive. I think that's just as big as getting him as it was Bichette.
Didn't they lose a reliever too? Relief pitcher?
We're not talking about Sugar. Somebody else?
Oh, Sugar.
Shut up. Shut your mouth, bro.
All right. So, who is the chump of the week? Who wants to go first?
I will. I've been bitching about it this entire podcast. The Vikings. Hold on, hear me out. It was piss poor management, timing, and execution of this entire fiasco with the GM, Kwesi. But it's not him that's the chump of the week for all the piss poor draft picks. That's what I think cost him the job. I think it's the timing, how this all played out. I think it's messy. I think it overshadows kind of some, this whole entire, some big things that they can build upon with the Brian Flores signing and some other things. I think with all this information coming out, the Vikings organization, that's my chump of the week, with the KOC not wanting McCarthy as his quarterback. In fact, it was up until like the final hour, they almost traded him to the Raiders. The whole mess, they can't contain this narrative. And I'm not saying I don't know a way around it, but when it explodes like it does, it just looks bad. And because if McCarthy's your quarterback and all of a sudden this is out in the open that, their head coach didn't want him and they almost traded him, it's just messy. Communication control. That was my chump of the week.
Yeah. And they also kind of tried to roll the bus under the GM and say, oh, he went and spent 2 weeks on maternity leave. And there's all kinds of stuff leaking bad about him to try to make it look like it was a good decision.
Right. Yeah. And I agree that, sometimes heavy lies the crown when you're the leader, it falls on you. But I think just what got out is what was poor, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, Jorge, you got one?
You should go first.
Okay. Mine is the NFL Hall of Fame. Once again, no Robert Kraft. That is insane. This dude is a fan. Like, he was a fan of the Patriots before he bought them. And he has helped lead them to 6-time Super Bowl champion. And no one has 6 Super Bowl champions with the same owner. Like, that is, if there's ever an owner that's in there, it's him. And the NFL Hall of Fame, once again, playing their games, doesn't care. They want to punish people. NFL Hall of Fame, once again, back-to-back weeks, chump of the week.
Well, they enacted the happy ending clause. That's going to hold you back 1 year.
Yeah. My man.
Listen, I think this is going to be controversial, but I don't really care. My chump of the week is anybody complaining about who's playing at halftime in the Super Bowl. Like, it's entertainment. It's just because you don't like it doesn't mean everybody else shouldn't like it. There's people that don't like it. There's people that don't even like football and are going to watch football because they like whoever's singing at halftime. He's not the first artist that people didn't like. The whole world's not going to like everybody that they put in there every time. So quit your complaining. If you don't like who's playing at halftime, guess what? Go eat more food. Go out, smoke. Go out and play with your kids. I don't know. There's other things you can do. Just sit around for the commercials.
Yeah.
And let the artist play his 7 minutes or whatever it is. Who cares? No big deal.
Who else is he with? Who else is he playing with?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that it pissed people off. Something that is also piggybacking with him, I thought.
Yeah, but I thought he's already been in there. Like Shakira was there, or Cardi B or somebody brought him in before. People were not paying attention then, I guess. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't pay attention. I watched it the 1 year that they had Dr. Dre, Snoop, that when I think they were in California. I don't even remember who did it last. Wasn't last year controversial too?
I don't know, but I love when Eminem came out and all that. But you know what? A bunch of people didn't.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't hear everybody complaining so much about it. So
I mean, I think we all know why.
Go Bad Bunny.
All right, man. On that note, we appreciate all you listeners, and if you can find us on any of your socials, we want you to interact with us. Find us on our YouTube channel, on your favorite podcast app with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of the podcasts that you listen to. You can go to firstandinches.com and download or listen to our podcast during your workout to get really mad. And then on the other side of this coin, we're going to see who was right, who was wrong about this Super Bowl matchup. Until then, let's go Seahawks.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Have a good week, guys.
Vikings.